Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web series Solo Apocalypse, taken from Royal Road. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 26. I pushed through the film warily, having watched half the group enter before me. There was a subtle sense of pressure, and my senses opened to a world of twilight. A dreamy forest caught between day and night. I looked in awe. Dungeon notice, congratulations, you are a member of the first group to enter Sleepywood. As the first group to explore this dungeon, the quality of your rewards are vastly increased. Jesus, someone whispered, stepping out of their primordial film. Nearby, Rose, Gary, and the others came through. Well, said Rose, looking around. I mentally regarded the dungeon notice, interested in what the local notification system like that. If there were world and area notices, then I suppose it followed that there was some like this. I rested my hand on my goblin knife, looking around. An eerie sense of being watched. Was it Solo's instinct? Something more? It made me uneasy, and I resisted the immediate urge to use Never Alone. It was the first time in a while I didn't have a second set of eyes to watch myself. Parker was scanning the tree line while Rickson investigated the only thing of note nearby. The stone formation we had walked out of. It looked oddly out of place, surrounded by evergreen grass so vibrant as to be tinged blue by the moonlight. He placed his hand on it as I stared up at the moon, people spreading out around me. It was blue, gone was the pale grey I was so accustomed to. A blue crescent circle commanded the sky. A few people followed my gaze, wordless. Here, Rickson said, his voice carrying over through the quiet. Looks like it's an exit, too. A few people walked over to confirm. I joined Parker, who hadn't taken his eyes off the tree line, along with a couple of others. Somehow, it felt the most natural to stay watchful for dangers, probably an effect of usage of my clones thus far. Feels like we're being watched, Parker remarked, uneasy. The man didn't have a weapon, but he moved with certain confidence I didn't question. It was in the description, I recalled. Watchful eyes. Solar instinct prompted me, and my gaze slipped left to the other side of the tree line. The feeling faded near immediately, leaving me wondering what had triggered it. I don't like it, he said. I agreed with him there. Well, we'll find out if it's worth it in the end, I replied. It didn't take long for us to start moving. We stepped into the shadow of the trees with extreme caution. Parker and a couple others in front, Rickson following, Gary, Rose, and myself towards the back. The fact that we were so closely grouped made me tense. As the group stepped between the trees, I tended towards the rear. There, I traced the gazes of the group, their squinting eyes against the twilight shadows. As I walked, I stepped away from a clone of myself, materializing into individualism behind me, wordlessly stepping away into the dimly lit shadows. I repeated the maneuver 3 more times, the clones only moving once everyone was out of range. They spread out, walking cautiously. I sensed it before I saw it. I turned fast. One of the vanguards yelled, and I saw a shadow crash into Parker. I jerked forward, realizing instantly I had nothing to help him from this distance. Instead, I heard something beside me, a crackle of flame and the smell of smoke. Firebolt! My eyes went wide. Rose was there, eyes alight and hands splayed. An orb of bright fire shot forward, crashing into the figure and setting it alight. It roared, squirming as spur caught on fire, and Parker somehow threw it off. It scrambled to its feet, raking grass and dirt as it came to a halt. The thing stood like a tiger, except it had 6 legs and 4 eyes. Antennae spoked out over its crown, jaws like mandibles, opening 4 ways. There was a moment where everyone just stared, it being the only thing moving, roaring at being cornered. Attack! Gary yelled, just as it lunged for Rickson. Stop it! Parker slammed into it, fearless, as the others piled on and Rickson scrambled back. Power strike! He yelled, and I saw his fist blur, pistoning into the aiding creature's side. It roared, shuddering, trying to get purchase. Keep it down, Parker, one of the people in front. Bloodletting slash! A knife sawed out its throat, leaving it choking and bleeding. Its movements immediately slowed. It struggled, desperate, until eventually it died. Everyone took a collective breath, some people frozen in movement and hesitation, others staring steely-eyed. "God!" someone in turn, shaky. "What the hell is that thing?" "Looks like a damn alien."
"Parker, are you okay?"
Rose ran over. "I'm fine, just bruised, thankfully," he groaned. People were standing over it, but an equal amount were staring at the few people who had let loose skills, myself among them. I was surprised witnessing them in action, especially Rose, and I couldn't decide whether they were more or less impactful than my own. There was nothing in my repertoire so directly applicable. I'd have been a sitting duck if I'd been pounced on like that. The thought served as a cautious reminder. Parker was breathing hard, looking at the body as Gary and I walked up. My clone scanned the perimeter quietly, eyes on the trees above. Parker's voice carried when he spoke, the glade returning to that strange quietness. "I leveled," he said. "I think Rickson was right." Rickson was off to the side, breathing hard. Yeah, I did too," he chimed in. Gary looked at the body. "Jack, you said you had a skill for this." "Yeah, fair warning, it's going to be a little unsettling," a man said, walking over, looking at the body. He held his hand over the creature. "Ugly fella. Day's hunt." And I blinked as I saw skin and fur peeled back, meat, organs, and bones pulling away as the beast came apart, even the antennae and eyes. Jack saw everyone staring. "I'm a hunter. I can only use this once a day, and I have to participate processing anything I hunt." He paused. "And, yeah, I leveled 2. "That's amazing," I said, genuinely stunned. It was a skill that was entirely utility, similar in vein to my own, and looked to skip the entire process of skinning and butchering an animal. In the apocalypse, where it was unlikely to find anyone who knew how to do those things, it was invaluable. Compared to Never Alone, was it more or less impactful. Before the influx of attributes and levels I'd lucked out on, I was only able to clone myself 2-3 times, and I'd already been thankfully skewed towards the pertinent attributes. Were 3 weakened versions of myself really any more useful than what I'd just seen? The solo class, I felt, was one that lent itself to more maneuverability, not so much for one direct combat or strictly survival. It couldn't take on that monster like Parker had, not without preparation, nor could it do what Jack had done either. I was pulled out of my thoughts as something drew my gaze. "Guys," Rickson said, turning heads. "I'm glad we confirmed the leveling part," he said, pushing up his glasses. "But I think we might have confirmed the item thing too. Look." There was suddenly a chest nearby, and I'd seen enough of that style of container to recognize it even before the message appeared. It hadn't been there moments before, and somehow everyone already knew where to find it. "Dungeon notice for defeating Gloom Tiger. Your group is rewarded with a common chest. Dungeon notice. Congratulations, as you are the first group to explore the Sleepy Wood. The common chest reward has been upgraded to an uncommon chest. Item, uncommon chest. Chests are hidden troves of treasure, capable of holding great boons and riches. This chest has the potential to hold uncommon valuables, either in effect, rarity, or quality." And so began our exploration of the Sleepy Wood. End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the Tier 5 members, Marky, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Oakfield, Lord Azrakul, and it's difficult to pronounce. Thank you very much.